then
No,
yeah.
it's booking, but it's the disrespect in the booking, right? Because we spoke about it. Sasha Banks went on the Broken Skull podcast and she said in her own words, like she feels like she's on a level that what she wants, she gets, or what she wants is what she deserves. So she's at a level where she says she's walking up to Vince's door like, you know what I'm saying, and we got to have a conversation. So
She's like on the Roman level.
So to make a long story short, Sasha Banks and Naomi was scheduled to be in a 6-pack women's challenge match to determine a number one contendership to face Bianca Belair at Hell in a Cell. At that point in time, clearly they're tag team champions, and it was supposedly reported, because again, we don't know, this is all hearsay, supposed to be reported that one of the two was supposed to take the fall on the other to then promote that champion, or to promote that person to be in a championship match. And then that other champion was going to then face the SmackDown champion to kind of, and again, the care and or the non-care of the storyline, we're like, no, we're not doing this. So what was told was Sasha and Naomi went to Vince, got it changed the first time, and the producer did not like, or the writer did not like, that they were told to rewrite after they wrote what they wrote, and they went and told Bianca and they went and told Sasha and Naomi to kind of fix their faces or fix their attitude or stop being brat to the something you can't tell black women.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Like you can't tell them about their attitude, my nigga. Like we know this by now. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell a black woman about her attitude, my nigga. You can't.
Wow.
That's like, if there was 11 commandments, that would be the 11th, my nigga. Thou shall not tell black women about her attitude. You know what I'm saying? Like that would have been on the fucking stone. So with that being said, they went back and was like, hey, that guy over there ain't really respecting the decision that was made upon the bosses, right? Bosses made this decision to get this shit changed. Tell that motherfucking peon to rewrite, motherfucker. That's your job. Right, bitch. Like, that's just, at that point, that's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Paraphrasing, you know what I'm saying?
The Chris take, of how things went down. I got it.
The Chris translation.
Chris translate, the Most High translation time. Go ahead, finish it up.
So with that being said, Johnny Ace then took the side. They're like, hey, Vince is not taking no more meetings, man. We're doing some, like I said, Tony Khan sometimes got to step back and got to have, not necessarily a Johnny Ace, but you got to have a Jack Tunney, nigga, somebody, motherfucker. Like somebody be like, hey, he not taking no meetings right now. You know what I'm saying? Like he the owner, he the boss. What's going on? How can I help you? That was the point where Johnny Ace, Naomi, Sasha had the kind of conversation, and they didn't like the rewrite of the rewrite. And it was like, okay, we're not gonna be doing this shit, bro. We gotta, what's happening? And Sasha was like, we got you. This was gonna happen. Put the titles down, y'all figure it out. Because at this point in time, if y'all such great writers, nigga, then y'all gonna have to figure this shit out. And they did, to her credit and to their credit. She proved the point. Y'all can make something better than this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that was the whole point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you, and I'm glad she stood on her morals, because a lot of people wouldn't, and I think that does Vince care about the women's tag division? No. So I trust that whatever
Vince
somebody wrote.
Sasha and Naomi.
Yes. Yeah. I do think he does, and at this point, we'll see how things work out in the future. But they also did walk out. They didn't wait and see what happens and said, hey, you know what? I'm not willing to do this match, and just they put the titles down and walked out. So now they can't fix it, even if they wanted to at that point, so they never. So at this point, I think we'll see how it goes until we hear Sasha and Naomi from themselves. I really can't say much.
If you wanted to make them in singles matches, then yeah, it's best that you take the titles off. And they force the titles off them. So whenever they come back, let them be single stars. Fuck it. That's what they were. You know what I'm saying? But if you wasn't going to give them the care right? If you wasn't gonna give Boss and Glow versus the Liv night, or they did the nightmare shit with Liv and Rhea, broke that shit up, right? It's
They
not so
don't
many
give
times
no
we
fucks
see
about the women's tag division at all. They
they
can't.
don't
They
give
can't.
a
Their patience with them is just super thin. They'll break up a tag team in a heartbeat. You had Rhea with freaking ASH, then with Liv, and then immediately once they started to get chemistry, immediately broke them up. Now Liv is with Edge. If Rhea doesn't get a women's championship soon, man, she's had a rough year. I'm gonna be
No,
real.
Rhea and Bianca's next. Gotta be next.
It has to be.
Gotta
Rhea
be
Bianca
next.
has to be next. Because
Gotta be
if
next.
you don't go there, then Rhea's gonna be stale as a motherfucker. She's on Stillwater right now as Judgment Day. It was cool to see her get added, but still, she has to have that moment where she's back in the women's picture. I mean, I don't know what they're doing with Rhea, you know. But speaking
Yo,
of the,
you brought up the tag team real quick, and it's been on my mind. It's something.
let's wait, let's finish Raw first. I want to get
Let's
to that.
finish Raw.
Let's finish Raw first.
Well, I was going to get the Raw because we was talking about you said tag teams, and Usos, new
I
Raw
know.
tag team champions,
Yeah,
man.
I hear you. I hear you.
Unified tag
But we have
team
a deeper
champions.
conversation on this, and I want to hold off on that. I want to talk about a couple of things on Raw, get that out the
Okay.
way first, because
All right.
real quick, and we'll get to that. Bianca, Asuka, Becky. I told you, I believe Bianca's number one women's wrestler in the world right now. That's my opinion. Maybe I'm biased. I don't know. But that's who I look to see who's like the benchmark. Honestly, I would say Sasha Banks, honestly, but as far as who's on TV, who's had the moment, whose moment it is right now, you know what I mean? Like as far as who can go out there and do the job the best at any given night, I think it's still Sasha Banks. But as far as who has the moment at the top and on any show, is Bianca. She hits on every cylinder every single week, and I think that in the ring she delivers. And in this match, like you said, Rhea has to be next. You can't have Bianca lose to Asuka or Becky. So I wanted to just touch on the fact that the women's division of Raw has been the best thing about women's wrestling right now to me, because I see Asuka return. Her matches with Becky have been great, and I'm just excited to see these women perform at Triple Threat because I think that's going to steal a show. In my opinion, it's guaranteed to steal a show. For me, that's the match I want to see coming.
Yeah, man. Oh shit. My bad. I didn't mean to put that up there like that. Give me one
No,
second.
that's good. This is what we're talking about. Hell in a Cell.
You know what I'm saying? So
We don't need to preview it, but I just want to give a shout out to them
Yeah.
and how they've been building this match. I didn't expect it to be a triple. I mean, I did expect it to be a triple threat, but when Asuka defeated Becky, when Sasha and Naomi obviously left, I think that was the right choice, you know. And then to now get Becky involved in there because people were saying all types of rumors like Naomi was supposed to win. I have no idea what's true or what's false. But if the writing was that bad, they fixed it because this is what the match should have been, and we'll see what happens going out. But
yeah, it was supposed to be Naomi versus Bianca. That's what they say it was supposed to be.
that makes no sense. But
Thank you.
But yeah, it makes no sense.
Thank you. You know what I'm saying?
I can see why they were mad if that was true. But we'll see. We'll see what goes down at Hell in a Cell, and tune into our Patreon episode on Saturday for more Sunday, as you
Well,
say.
Speaking about Hell in a Cell, I know you said that the Raw Women's division is really holding it down, and I Becky and Bianca are best on the planet, right? Or best. Are they best in the planet or just best in the E? Are they best in the company?
The best in the world, I would say, as far as women's wrestling, in my opinion, they're the best women in the world. I would throw Sasha in there, me personally, because I think Sasha has a mind for how to make everything work overall. Whether it be the character, whether it be their in-ring ability, and she knows how to work with any person. Like it was her big, small, what, it doesn't matter. But I do believe that over time, Bianca's going to be that person. And I think that Bianca is right now currently the best woman wrestler in the world.
So we got the best woman in the world on Raw. Is the best male wrestler in the world on Raw as well?
in
I
the
know the
world.
most over Russ. I know the most over male. Listen, MJF had his fun in the sun, but I can tell you one thing, my guy. Me and you was in Dallas. Me and you was amongst 70,000 people who tripped the fuck out for this nigga. Cody motherfucking Rhodes is the most over motherfucking wrestler in this feud that they got going on right now between him and Seth Rollins. I think they are right now carrying Raw. Carrying Raw. Right before Cody came, the anticipation of is Cody going to show up before WrestleMania to give Seth Rollins. Cody made niggas tune in 2 to 3 weeks before WrestleMania every Monday to see if he coming. And then every Monday after, this nigga done got a Cody clock. This nigga done motherfucking and he is holding down Raw, but he's only holding down Raw because Seth is a great, great, great side B. I think Seth is a side B right now. I think Cody's a side A. I think Seth's a side B.
That's ironic that you're saying that, man, because you've been shitting on Cody for years. But
Absolutely.
that's, yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm glad you've turned the corner to see his value. I think that Cody has become. This is his moment. This is the moment that he's been waiting for in his career to show that he is the player that he thinks he is. He had to learn that in by going elsewhere though, and he wasn't going to learn it in WWE. He learned to become a mega star through his journey on the Indies, and then going to New Japan, and then finally, really becoming a household name. Well, he was already a household name, but becoming a more established solo act in AEW, and getting and garnering emotion. Right off the bat, that Dustin match with him, and I go back to that because I think it was a moment that just showed that, oh, he knows what he's doing out there, and even though to create that moment out of no story that was already a story because they're brothers, it was crazy. It was crazy, So that for me was the moment where I knew that Cody had the potential to be a main eventer, because you don't just do that on a whim. Now with Seth Rollins and what he's been able to pull off with him in this story, um, I wouldn't say he's necessarily the A side because they're both at that level. Seth Rollins, man, he may not have had the championship in a long time, and he may have had, you know, he may have had this storyline kind of with Rey Mysterio, with Edge. He's had this kind of like I gotta beat you kind of storyline for a minute, but it feels different with Cody. I don't know what it is. It feels like these two guys, especially with Cody coming back to WWE and what he's gone through, them adding that layer to it. It feels like
Well, it feels
the
different
big.
because Seth was Dusty's son in the E. That's why it's different,
I
right?
guess you're right.
Seth working the matches with Alistair and Ray and whoever I gotta beat you. Like, no, this is real animosity between Cody and Seth. Cody didn't like Seth, and Seth was like, "Yeah, you should like me, nigga, because I'm better than you," right? And Cody was like, "I don't know," and Seth was like, "Well, show us, because right now, nigga, you got face paint on, my nigga. You should be an Uso." You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, so honestly, I think this is different for the simple fact too. Cody couldn't never be the baby face in AEW because it changed on him. You know why it changed on him? Because he changed on us. His motivations of who he was and what he wanted to be. Right? Nah, nigga, you ain't Bill Russell. You can't coach and play, my nigga. You either gonna be an executive or you're gonna be a player. And right now he's showing that, hey, my value isn't as an executive. My value is as a player. And if he's fit with that, then go be a player, my nigga.
I'm glad he's
Go be a
understood
player.
that
And I
now.
respect him being.
I'm glad he's been able to understand that about himself and take himself to just focus on that. When you just focus on that, everything can be great. And he's gonna be. I think he's the guy to beat Roman. I'm gonna say right now, he's the guy who I would choose to beat Roman. I know that a lot of people have different people they're saying, but um, I think Cody and Roman SummerSlam, Cody and Roman WrestleMania, even Survivor Series, even I don't care where. Make it a big match. It can be a Money in the Bank. Fuck it. But he would be the guy to dethrone him, and it will be a huge moment for the fans. He's the biggest babyface in the world right now. I would say so.
Say he the guy.
I'm sorry, you're breaking up a bit.
So that's what I was asking. That's what I was asking. That's what I was asking. Was the best wrestler or the best male wrestler on Raw? Because I know Roman ain't been on Raw a lot. You know what I'm saying? I don't even think Roman. I think Roman's the best storyteller.
No, I said he's the best babyface in the world. Like Cody Rhodes is the best babyface in the world. Roman's a heel.
Okay.
And Roman is the best wrestler in the world. Period.
Oh, okay.
Roman's the best. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, the best wrestler in the world is on Raw. Then the Raw champion. Okay. Yeah. Correct.
He's both. Yeah. Right now, if you guys don't know what's happening, there's no brands anymore. They just didn't say it. There's no brands. There's really just everybody's mixed. You know.
He's biracial.
It's you know, you got everybody everywhere. You know. But yeah, with you know, with the unification of tag titles and like, you know, the world championship and the tag championship, this is what I asked for. If you guys haven't been watching the podcast, or listening to the podcast, I've been asking for this for about 3 years, and I'm glad we're getting it. I want the unification of both rosters. I think it's more efficient, more effective for the roster they have now. They can barely write for one show. They have Austin Theory doing God knows what. They got Ricochet doing God knows what. Ezekiel is now getting mad time. I don't know why this guy gets so much time outside of his, I guess, physique. If without a guitar, I don't think he's interesting.
Person, bro. It's Elias.
Without his guitar, without his guitar, he's not it to me. So without his guitar, he's right now. I have a gripe with Ezekiel. They're doing a heel gimmick and trying to make it a baby face, and it doesn't work for me. Even if he were to come out with a guitar and hit somebody and then hide it, and then I'm like, oh, okay, this guy is trying to fake that he's
Bo Dallas. Why can't you just go with
Dallas? It? I'm not going with shit. I'm done going with shit in wrestling. If I don't like it, I'm gonna come on this podcast and tell you Ezekiel's storyline with Kevin Owens is garbage. It's wasting my time on Raw. It's worse than the 24/7 championship. It's worse, honestly. It's worse.
It's not, because you can't tell me that, because Kevin Owens is comedic.
Kevin Owens is great, but he can only say you're Elias so many times. He's only can turn their script and try to be funny with it so many times and try to, you know, improv. He's great, but he's not fucking Houdini, man. You're giving him a terrible storyline. Like whatever he had with Sammy was way more interesting on SmackDown than what the fuck he just did with Ezekiel, what he's been doing with Ezekiel to build to this Hell in a Cell match that I don't care about. But that's me. I don't know. Maybe y'all think it's funny. Maybe it's for the kids. Maybe y'all think, oh my God, it's really Elias. That's really gonna get you guys to watch wrestling. Fuck that shit.
I mean, why? You got grown niggas crying because CM Punk returned. You got kids crying because motherfucking RK Bro lost the tag team title. I mean, awesome. It's still real to people, my guy. You know what I'm saying? So it's still. I mean, people.
Those were both awesome moments. That does not compare to this.
Hold on, but what I'm saying is that, like, yeah, people do know that that's Ezekiel. People know that that's Elias as Ezekiel, and I mean, it's a bit of Kevin Owens. Like, I get you. I'm not explaining it to you, but like, it's a bit.
Yeah. But how many weeks you gonna do? 4 weeks in a row, the same bit? I'm done with this shit.
It's the same thing with fucking Saturday Night Live, nigga. I mean, as long as Donald Trump was in the news cycle, they had motherfucking Alec Baldwin doing.
And I don't watch that.
You know what I mean? It's a bit.
I don't watch that either.
I do. I watch it in subsections where my niggas is on. Shout out to motherfucking Jamaica. Or motherfucking I watch goddamn Michael Shea and Jalen Coast. So I will motherfucking watch it in spurts, but it is some shit that I don't watch. But as a whole totality, Saturday Night Live, I said Raw and Saturday Night Live should be viewed the same way. That is exactly what I've been saying. I've been saying it. Raw and Saturday Night Live should be viewed the same way. And people who like comedy, who grew up with Jim Carrey and Eddie Murphy and all that shit, was still going to have the nostalgic flip to Saturday Night Live because it's still on to see if they can catch a funny motherfucker. And they're going to be like, damn, it's a waste of time.
Storyline is funny.
Huh?
Do you think this storyline is funny?
Dog, I've been watching playoff basketball. I haven't
No,
even been
I'm asking.
basketball.
I'm asking you a question. Do you think it's
Like,
funny? No,
I
you can
just
say
feel like
no.
I chuckle. I chuckle.
Okay, okay, got it.
I'm not
Okay.
gonna stand firm to like. I'm not gonna hold a belief to percent. Like, listen,
I'm just
Kevin
saying, like, I
Kevin
don't.
Owens
Here's
snapping on
there's
the
certain
nigga and
things
be
they
like,
do
yo, bro,
where
stop
I
lying
don't
to
get
me.
why this person gets so much screen time sometimes. Like, like, I think they're gonna push Riddick Moss or get Madcap Moss to the moon when he gets back, and I'm like, I don't get it. There's certain things I just don't get, and I don't get, and that's maybe it's not for me. And you're right, I should maybe just ignore it. But
Because yes,
I feel like there's more time on
everything.
your show to maybe give the women's tag team championship some space to do their thing. That's what I'm thinking. Get this fucking Elias shit out or Ezekiel shit out here. Every time I see him tell a story about him and his brother, I'm like, this is bullshit, man. You're wasting my fucking time. So I tune off too. You're right.
But yeah,
So
but you're right. Everything we already had this conversation though. Like everything ain't for us.
no, I feel you. But when I also see the women's tag team division going through what it went through, and then they said there's going to be a tournament, and now we're thinking about they might scrap the tournament completely because they don't got enough tag teams. It's like you guys are all over the place, and
But that
where
doesn't have a correlation to do with another. They don't have a tag team
that's what
division.
I was getting at. That's why I brought this conversation up. To me, it does. To me, it's like don't give storylines that are not good time on your screen when you're neglecting a title. That's my thing. And then you have Austin Theory not doing dick squat with the United States Championship. That's what I'm talking about.
Wait, he is doing something. We're not okay. I'm not about that. We're not about. I'm glad that we're here, but I don't want to. You can't say
I'm talking about getting him over as an act. Austin Theory, he can hold the championship. That's not going to get a talented guy like Austin Theory is over as an act. He should be the one with the microphone. He should be the one having promos all the time. That's what I'm saying. They're giving all this energy to fucking Ezekiel.
But no, they're actually giving a lot of time to Theory, my nigga, which enough too much time, and he ain't getting over with all the fucking time that he getting, motherfucker. So like, what's like, I will listen. I'm not finna say what I'd rather have Ezekiel on my TV rather than fucking Austin Theory or Ricochet. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is that we're spending time talking about shit that you don't like when the things that you do like still like
All right, it was the same conversation.
no. Listen, Ricochet and Austin Theory right now. Ricochet and Austin Theory right now is not doing the same thing that Kevin Owens is doing with his storyline, which is making somebody talk about it. Right? Like who fought like at one point in time, when is talent going to translate? The only reason why we're involved in this Intercontinental Championship match is because of Walter, and you don't even want Walter in it. So, like, how do we make Ricochet feel special?
Oh man, Ricochet. I don't know how you can go from somebody who is that talented, and then you don't know how to use his talent to, potentially get him over. I don't know. Maybe it's on the talent, but I think a lot of it has to do with writing, man. I think the positions a lot of people are put in. Sometimes, granted, I think that sometimes have they failed themselves? Absolutely. But you got to put your players in the best position to succeed for it to work, And when you're wasting time with Elias, and then there's people on the roster that are, have talent, and it's the same conversation we've had a lot, But at the end of the day,
I
I
mean,
guess you're right. I should
get,
ignore it completely and just focus on Cody and Seth
I get what
and
you're
Becky and
saying.
Bianca.
I get what you're saying. You're saying that like, yo, Ezekiel's taking up time on TV that you don't care for, but like that's everywhere, right? That's everywhere, right? I love MLW. They got the blackest champions in fucking wrestling. But once they took the title off of fucking Jacob Fatu, I tuned out. You know why? Because who the fuck the title on, nigga? Exactly. You know what I mean? That's the point. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes it is circumstances that make you that cause a ripple effect in how it is that. But with that being said, with Ezekiel and Kevin Owens, could Kevin Owens be doing something different? Yes. Has Kevin Owens had the United States Championship, had the Tag Team Championship, had the Intercontinental Championship, lost the World Championship match? It's not really else that he can do, right? You can give him something, you can give him a storyline, But I mean, it is degrees, and this goes back to Will Ospreay's comment about, he says, I don't knock WWE, but they're more actors than professional wrestlers. And I'm like, well, you're knocking them because you're actually mad that they're doing more than you. You're mad that they're still wrestlers, so they're wrestling, but they're acting, so they have another responsibility that you aren't able to
into, and I feel you. But Will Ospreay, you know, I would say I fuck with how he approaches his things too. He's more down to earth, and he wants to, you know, work in a way where he controls his paycheck, he controls his lifestyle. His lifestyle is not of a WWE wrestler, so he has no desire to do that. But is it knocking them by saying they're more actors? And does he have a point with that? Yeah, he does, because you got to come in, you got to clock in, and then you got to do all these promos, and then you go out there and you do wrestle for a short amount of time on TV. If you got your time, you get your time cut. Sometimes you know if you're going to be on the squad. Sometimes you're just in the background of another somebody else's angle, and then you go home. A lot of people are doing that. A lot of talented people are doing that. There are a lot of people who are, on backstage angles or in 24/7 chasing you around, and they're talented people. Cedric Alexander is one of the most talented wrestlers in the world.
But you started
this off
wrestling. But you started this off with Ezekiel and Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens signed re-signed because
I'm not comparing Kevin Owens to people I'm talking about, though.
No, but I mean, you are, because you're saying he's wasting his time with Ezekiel.
I would like a Cedric Alexander KO feud. Be creative, write something where they can get a feud and have a new match that people want to see. And there's certain people that give time that I'm like, man, just because he can talk, is it that? I guess it's where we're at. I don't know.
Hold on, that's why I brought you. That's exactly where we're at. If you can talk, that is a big part of.
But he can. Okay. He can. I'm not gonna knock his wrestling skills. He's not the worst wrestler in the world. But he's not entertaining to me. I guess he's just not.
Ezekiel?
Like Ezekiel is terrible, bro. Is it gonna get over? How long is this match gonna last? That's like, what are the legs of Ezekiel?
But that's what I'm just saying. That's what I'm just saying. He's not a main eventer. He's filling a slot. That's what I'm saying. He's not for you, because you come in to see main eventers.
I know.
I'm
saying that you're not putting him in the best position with this. I think that the way they write is just weird sometimes. I think that all right, man.
Well, I'm just saying the way that they write, correct. You have
gotta go around circles. I hear you.
The way that they write, it doesn't make sense, but they also kind of give you they give you what you want.
It's lazy, man. Oh my God.
Yeah, but everyone is. We are, motherfucker. We lazy as a motherfucker.
No, I'm not. If you look at my life on a day-to-day basis, you'll see that I'm one of the least laziest persons in the world.
Me too, nigga, but I'm lazy as fuck. I'm not finna lie to myself and say I ain't. I'm not finna lie to my I'm just talking about me, but what I'm saying is this: every portion of what we're talking about, how we consume, how we watch, how it's presented, how they make it, every portion of it isn't going to be sophisticated, because everything doesn't have the capacity for it.
You know what? You're right. Moving along, let's go to the tag team division because we're gonna go around in circles. At the end of the day,
the tag team division, right? RK Bro, you didn't like that tag team, but you got people crying when they lose the championship because they built equity in something that you didn't care for. Even though you didn't care for it, doesn't matter. Nigga, it still mattered. That's the whole point I'm trying to say.
You're right. You're right, man. At the end of the day, let's talk about the greatest tag team of the decade. RK Bro lost. They might not even be a thing anymore. But I'm wrong. If you want me to hear you say live on the air, I was wrong about RK Bro. I was wrong. 100%. And I'm man enough to come on this podcast and do that. I'm man enough to say when I was wrong about something, because wrestling fans don't do that shit. They double down on their ignorance. And I'm not going to double down my ignorance. RK Bro was great. And it didn't happen the way I wanted to happen. But if it affected those kids like that, you got what you needed.
Bro, they got that feel.
I loved it. At the end of the day, I loved it.
Back,
so I'm like, man, I'm missing something here. And I see it. But we'll see if Elias does that. or Ezekiel does that, and I'll give it some time, I guess. And
But
that's where we're at with that.
Him and Madcap Moss may not. Him and Matt, they might not, because you got to have some flops, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some people, everybody's not going. You know what I'm saying? Like, people thought Enzo and Kaz was going to be the top of the division, and then they, you know what I mean? Like, there are some things that don't. But I do think that in those spaces that we see that is working, right? Because, right, again, I didn't bring that up for you to say that you was wrong, but I did want you to kind of, I did want to tie a bow on it that, like, yes, it may not be for you, but it is filling a purpose somehow. And I think
but talking about the show, whenever I watch because I'll be honest with you, I'm not coming here to tell you guys that I know what's best for wrestling. I'm coming here as a critic because I love wrestling. I love wrestling. And I'm a critical of it, and I'm proud to be critical of it because I'm critical about everything that I love. My family, my money, how I do things in life. I am hardworking, and you are lying, Chris. You're one of the most hardworking guys that I know. We are hardworking guys here. However, when some other people are lazy, yeah, you can call it out. And if I'm lazy, I expect somebody to call me out too. So I call them out because I'm accountable, and I want them to be accountable when they do some fuck shit, when they do some bullshit. So that's what I do on this. So that's, at the end of the day, it is what it is. RK Bro, I was wrong.